Welcome back to Vigil Wildemount Chronicles.
Yes, hello, we are here. So before we start, I think we have a few announcements to go through. So if you would like to take that away, one announcement is unfortunately Victoria is not here with us. But she is in our hearts. So
In spirit and in chat for a
You
while until
make
she
it-
passes out.
You make it sound like she died.
she's okay. She's not. No, I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't mean. Oh, okay,
She's
I'm
in our hearts.
Go ahead with the announcement.
She's in our hearts.
Jesus.
Anyway, so as I forcibly rip Victoria's duties from her, hi everybody.
Duty.
I'm Ink. I'm going to be doing our announcements for today. So beginning, of course, with our spectacular sponsors first and always foremost being Little Dragon Corp. Little Dragon Corp has been with us for so long and has contributed to so many wonderful Natural 20 moments on this channel. With their dice, they are a Canadian-based dice company with all different kinds of tabletop gear outside of just dice. But you can check out their Twitter, which is Little Dragon Co. 1, so that you can keep updated on all of the cool products that they're putting out. And when you go to their website, if you use the coupon code PROBONUS, not Prof Bonus, PROBONUS, you can get 10% discount off of your order at littledragoncorp.com. Additionally, we would also like to thank Cardboard Castle Games for their support as well. Cardboard Castle Games is a wonderful, friendly local game store in the Evans, Georgia area. They also have a website that you can check out to see what sort of things they have. But if you are in the area, we really would appreciate if you give them their patronage. They're also very great. And if you let them know that Proficiency Bonus sent you, you will also get 10% off anything that you get from Cardboard Castle Games. As for us, we are Proficiency Bonus. We have games pretty much every single day of the week. We have pre-run D&D adventures. We have homebrew games. We even have games that are completely outside of D&D itself. Especially one that I'm very excited for. That's maybe starting soon. That I'm really interested in watching. So if you tune in pretty much any day of the week, there's going to be something going on this channel, and you can keep up with all of our wonderful adventures. Let's see. What else do we have? We are always looking for new players, GMs, and other people to help join our channel and add their stories to our own. Most especially, we always want to hear from people of color and also people that are in the LGBTQ communities. We definitely want those stories to be able to be heard and come to the forefront on our channel. So if that interests you, please consider joining our Discord. It is open to the public, where you can chat with all of us and you can hear some behind the scenes stuff about the games and just sort of get yourself involved with the Proficiency Bonus community. We accept all different kinds of experience levels from novice to veteran, so please, if you're interested and you'd like to meet some of us and share in stories, consider joining the Proficiency Bonus Discord, and also follow our Twitter at ProfBonus. That's where the F comes in. That's PROFBONUS on Twitter. That is our Twitter handle for Proficiency Bonus. Gosh, how does Victoria do this? I'm almost out of breath.
I know, right?
Finally, we would like to thank Adrian Von Ziegler for some of the music that we specifically use here on Wednesdays. That is both for our Vigil Wildemount game as well as our Waterdeep Dragon Heist game. Adrian Von Ziegler is an incredibly talented producer who has some awesome usage rights. You can find like all of his stuff on YouTube. He also has a Patreon. So all of this wonderful tunes that you hear in your ear, composed by him. So if you like that, definitely subscribe to him, and if you can, join his Patreon. He makes some really awesome stuff. I spoke just before we went live, so I know that Mystic Hour for tomorrow is on a to-be-determined basis. Kristy, that's correct?
Yes.
Alright, so
Hopefully, we will be doing Mass Effect. Hopefully.
hopefully Mass Effect, but kind of just taking it easy for tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. And then I think... No, one more thing, and then I'll stop talking until I have to talk again for recap. Scheduling change. So next week, instead of our Waterdeep Dragon Heist game, we are going to be doing an additional session of Vigil Wildemount Chronicles. So wherever we leave off today, if you want to see what happens next, remember to tune in next week, not 2 weeks from now, because we will be doing a back-to-back of Vigil.
Take a breather. Take a breather. Derek has an announcement.
Yes. We play in the wonderful world of Exandria, which is brought to life by Matthew Mercer and the wonderful people at Critical Role. We are not in any way affiliated with them, but we are happy to be able to play in this world because it is amazing. So please check out Critical Role. I'm sure you've heard of them. They are
Probably.
great. So, any other last minute announcements to try and give Ink a little bit more breather before? Because I'm assuming Ink is going to do the recap
I'll
for us.
say it because like Ink kind of alluded to it, but let's just fucking say it. Like Power Rangers is coming soon, fam.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
ready.
Yes! It's the Power
gonna be
Rangers! I didn't
awesome.
know we could
Yeah,
say
we can say it. We can say it.
Oh!
I mean,
Power
hey, you know,
It was-
it's gonna be awesome.
As like the casting, one of the cast, me and Derek were casting directors, and going
Yes.
through the piles of applications and the multiple interviews, it was so hard to choose. So we're really excited for the
So
first
many
group.
wonderful people we talked to,
Yeah.
and it was very difficult,
So
very
difficult, so
difficult
difficult.
to narrow it down to 5.
Yeah.
But
Oh!
it's
Juicy.
gonna be great. So look forward to that. I don't know if we have an exact date yet for
No,
when the 1st
I'm-
episode is,
first
but just
episode-
keep.
Probably end of January, beginning of February is tentative at the
Yes.
moment because they need a moment to do a session 0 and get prepped because the PDF
Exactly.
isn't out yet. So
No.
Yeah.
But again, the easiest way to keep in contact with that is if you join our Discord or Twitter. Are very good ways to stay informed with upcoming shows. So,
Yeah.
that being said, I don't think we have any other announcements.
It's okay,
Right?
I caught my breath.
You good?
Anybody
You
else?
Gucci?
Nope. Okay. So, who would like the DM's inspiration for giving the recap? I'm assuming it's Ink.
Wait, this way.
Why don't you go ahead and take that away for us?
All right, I waited. All right, y'all. So the Iron Line is making their way to Dumka's homeland of Marquette for an interesting job that has been given to us by our wonderful patron Shashay. We are going to be meeting several dragons in Marquette and possibly doing a little bit of investigation, archaeological stuff. However, while we were making our way towards Marquette, our airship was attacked by an Elder Tempest, and we began our session in the middle of combat with this, probably, I'm going to say it, the most dangerous foe that we've faced yet. Through a little bit of grit, a little bit of luck, and a lot of magic, we were able to take down the Elder Tempest and not lose any of our wonderful friends. And we were even able to extract some elemental essence and some other interesting crafting materials from the creature using some very fun supplements that Derek has started to implement. We licked our wounds and we rested. The ship plotted a slight detour to be able to land, do some quick, was it repairs and refueling?
Repairs. Yeah, it was
Repairs.
mainly repairs, yeah.
Okay. Do some repairs before we continued on to our final destination. While docked, however, it was let out that there was a sort of nearby settlement, we'll say, featuring a craftsman that I'm very excited about, bearing the seal of Dumka's, I'm not going to say long lost, but long time no see father, He has been living mostly with his mother and his stepfather for the last couple decades, but it turns out his father's workshop seems to be nearby, and since the ship is getting repaired, the party has a little bit of free time, and so Dumka is very excited to get to see his father again and introduce his friends to a side of his family that he hasn't really gotten to interact with in a really long time. So as he sprinted off into the desert, Tremayne, I believe, is Tremayne coming or staying on the ship?
I don't remember exactly.
I think she was going to stay on the ship.
I think she stayed on the ship, though.
Yeah.
Since we're sort of all the bodyguards and we're supposed to be bodyguarding Shashay, so
Sashay went with you all.
Shashay's coming with, just to guard the ship. Tremayne stayed to guard the ship. The rest are going to go meet Dumka's dad. That is where we're at, because we're gonna go see my dad.
So you all also know that the ship should be ready to take off tonight. So you have a couple of hours. It's still about around noon. So you have a couple hours to spend. It does take about an hour there and an hour back.
I lied.
Of travel.
Tremayne was taking us because she was carrying Matty.
Oh, right. Okay, so Tremayne is with you all. That's totally fine.
Yeah. Tremayne's gonna guard the ship when we reach our final.
Yeah, when we go to the final destination.
That's what it was.
Good. Okay, everyone gets to meet Daddy.
So yeah, it's about an hour travel. You all probably make it in about 45 minutes, to be completely honest, with Dumka, like, just kind of booking it, and everybody trying to keep up with Dumka. So you make good time, and in the distance, you start seeing these small, kind of like tents that look like they're made to be easily put up and taken down if need be. This isn't a town or a city with like actual buildings. This is mainly a community that is built around mobility. It seems like they maybe like a traveling group or something like that kind of vibe here. So as you all enter the town, there's a large pot that you all see in the middle of town that looks like a I forget what they're called in actually like in the real world, but like these large frying pans basically that look like kind of like a wok, yeah, but like big, like huge. Looks like a big communal cooking area that the town uses, or this little settlement uses.
Was that show?
But
like a griddle?
Oh yeah, like a big griddle.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, just like big communal cooking area, and there you see some other makeshift like stalls and stuff like that that's been put up, and looks like they're selling like some kind of like small food and stuff like that. But you start entering the town or in the settlement, looking around. As you enter, there's people going about their business, and there's not many people here, but you see a handful of them just walking from tent to tent, conversing outside of tents, all that, going about your normal daily business basically. And Dumka, why don't you go ahead and make me a perception check?
Oh, gladly. Where's Daddy?
Everybody can make me a perception check also, not just Dumka.
7.
Okay.
I'm looking, but I'm not looking.
Yeah. You're taking it all in, but not actually. What did everybody else get on their perception checks?
19.
Okay.
22.
Okay. Matty? 10. Okay. So Reksha and Beckett, you all start walking through into the more like the center of this little settlement here. And out of the corner of your eye, you start seeing this relatively big individual running towards Dumka. Are you all doing anything?
He's like, well, I'll just like tap his arm. Just be like,
You tap into
I'm looking
his
for.
arm. You turn around immediately when you get a big bear hug by an individual you know as your sister, Shez. This she is really built and muscular. Kind of has that whole like triangle kind of like frame where the and it goes down into the V. Yeah, I don't know what the frame's called, but basically think of that new Disney movie that came out.
Luisa from Encanto.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Think of like that kind of frame, and you as she just runs up and gives you turn around just in time to get just like the biggest bear hug. And almost like your life squeezed out of you, and I cannot believe I'm actually you're here. Why didn't you tell me you were coming? And she's still oh, sorry, I forgot she'll drop you, and she is probably standing a good maybe foot higher than you, and like she is pretty big and tall. Yeah, why? What are you doing here? I didn't expect.
I did not expect to see you either. I heard that.
Does Dad know? Did you?
No.
Did he just not tell me?
No. I can't. I'm. Hi.
Hi.
I give her a hug again.
Yeah.
Like around like her. Like,
yeah.
I'm like just like on like her like chest. Oh, I'm here on a job, but our airship was damaged, so it landed to do some.
You're from that airship?
Yeah,
is that your airship? Are you? Did you
wish.
bring some some souvenirs or anything like that for your favorite sister?
You are my favorite sister. That is very true. I'm like patting, and I go into my bag. I'm ruffling through my bag.
Okay.
And I go, Reksha made me a little silver statuette of myself.
Okay. Is that you? I didn't think you could get any smaller. I'm only joking. I'm joking. This is wonderful. We can put it on the counter or something.
So that I'm always home. Oh my goodness. This is
also I can't help but notice that you have all these
are my
interesting
friends.
People
These are my
that you're not
friends.
introduced. Like, where is your? I thought you went off to this city. Thought you would have manners, but you didn't introduce.
Well, you asked me a lot of questions, but
So get to the introductions, please.
everyone, this is my sister, my older sister, Shez, who has always made sure that I was a very well-behaved young man.
She gives you a little pat on the head as you say that.
Says these are the members of the Iron Line, my mercenary company that I founded. Along with them, they're also my friends, first and foremost. This is Tremayne. You may remember Tremayne. Yes, one of my first friends that I made back when I went over there. And then there's Reksha. I know that I have told you about Reksha, the good cook. He's acclimated well.
I've read the letters. Yes, it's wonderful to meet you, Reksha. Hope maybe you could fix us some dinner tonight. How long are you staying? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your introductions. Go ahead.
This is Beckett. I like Beck. And this is, well, I'm sure you like to introduce yourself, but
Matty, nice to meet you.
Oh, aren't you bubbly? Nice to meet you. She takes your hand and like shakes.
our newest member.
Oh,
This is this is her first mission. She is already
newbie,
proving
huh?
to be-
Okay.
She is incredibly competent. Reksha has taken up the smithing, and Matty can brew potions. Beck is a wonderful tracker and survivalist, and Tremayne beats the ever-living shit out of things.
My
And I, of
my
course-
kind
and-
of individual.
And I, of course, I do a little bit here, I do a little bit there, but
Sure. It definitely sounds like you have a good group here. Hopefully, Dumka doesn't get you all into too much trouble, because I know he can do that sometimes.
I am not Zach. I am not Zach.
He's fine.
We've been fine.
He's great.
Well,
So okay, wait, hold on. I knew that father was going to be here, but I figured by now. I mean, it's been
1 week.
it's been quite a long time. I figured that you would be out on your own by now, or maybe a husband or a wife, maybe a kid or two. No, not. I don't know.
I'm not really. I'm not really the family person.
Well,
No.
good, because if there was a wedding and I wasn't invited, I was going to be very upset.
No, of course, you would be my maid of honor,
Oh,
and I
that's really
expect
sweet.
I expect you to wear a dress if that ever happens.
Oh, what
You
an
would look
honor!
wonderful.
That's really sweet.
I could rock a dress.
Yeah, you
Oh, I know
could.
you could. That's why I'm saying you have to do it. Anyways, how about I
Yeah.
take you over to our tent?
Sure.
You see, Father and Dash is there. That you.
Dash is here too.
Yeah, we've all been kind of moving around together, and
I am
helping
so
with
happy that we
cells,
got attacked and almost fell out of the sky. This is perfect.
wait, what? You got it? What did
I
you get
almost
attacked by?
died. I wasn't.
You almost.
Well, I thought it was great grandpa, but they are telling me that it was not great grandpa.
Not even close, I'm sorry.
No.
Did
It was an
anyone ever decide-
elemental.
It's not the same species as...
Matty is
He-
very very smart. It's
I
some
am so
elemental.
confused. I will take your word on that, whatever you're saying. Follow me, and she will lead you into the direction of one of the bigger tents that is here in this settlement, and you can as you get closer, you hear the sound of a hammer hitting some kind of metal, and you can smell the smell of a forge from inside.
Oh, this is just
And
like
as they have this your normal tent door, they move it to the side. As you all enter, there's of course, single big room. There's a couple of beds over on one side. There is a makeshift forge, not super impressive by any means, but usable. It is made to be transportable, to where it actually is built onto a kind of like a cart or a wagon that is made to it could actually move and travel with. Because you have noticed that there has been some horses and some camels tied up to where they, of course, won't run off. Kind of like a makeshift stables throughout the settlement. But there's also a small little, again, kind of like makeshift counter where it looks like they do cells. There's a couple weapon racks, because mostly your father specializes in weapons. And they have your basic of the basic armor, but majority of interesting looking weapons and tools in here that is made of different kinds of metals and everything. So as you all enter, you see this giant of an orc just hammering something at the forge, while a younger or a smaller in stature male orc is also standing by, helping, moving what looks to be a piece of metal, while the bigger is just hammering this metal down after pound after pound. But you all enter, and your sister runs up and taps your father on the back as he is hitting this metal, turns around, pushes up a small set of glasses that looks really funny on this individual's head because he's big head, but these small little like black, the kind of like how welding glasses basically, so you can look at like the fire and stuff like that without actually damaging your eyes. He has glasses like that, but basically they just go straight over his eyes, and it looks very strange. But as he flips that open, look, we have guests. Dad, they look who decided to show up. And he turns around. Both him and Dash see you, and take a second to realize that you're actually here. And he puts down his hammer. He tells Dash to just put that back in the fire, and they both come over to you, go for a big hug, and again, this orc is a good probably foot again taller than Dumka, muscular than all hell, and just again embraces you and squeezes a little too tight again, and just says like into your ear, but of course loud, everybody can hear this. I can't believe you're actually here. I wasn't expecting to see you anytime soon, but and then we'll let you go.
I try to wrap my arms all the way around so they get like to like his sides, and he's just like, "Hi, Dad."
So what are you doing here? I've been trying to send a letter, but we've been kind of out here in the middle of nowhere, and I haven't been able to get a letter out to get to you. I am sorry about that. I've tried to stay on the yearly schedule.
It's
But
fine.
I'm so happy to see you. And he kind of like takes you by the face, and like, he's just, you can just tell that he's ecstatic that you're here. Your brother Dash will come up and like kind of like give you a pat on the shoulder, and Dash he's been more. A lot of your family, at least this side of the family, is like outgoing. Dash is a little bit more reserved and like doesn't show off his emotions all that much. So him coming over and giving you a pat on the shoulder is like what you would expect from him.
Is he taller than me now too?
Yes, unfortunately, he is now taller than you too. When you left, he was not taller than you, but now he is indeed taller than you. Your younger brother.
Curse my mother's beautiful elven blood.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's probably about a half a foot.
Oh, my baby brother's bigger than me.
Yeah, so, but you have to tell me what you've been up to the past year, since I haven't. And what are you doing here? How did you get here? Are you from the airship that landed?
For the companions that have been with Dumka for a lot, he is never at a loss for words. He always has something to say. He's barely been able to like think of like a sentence, and when he asks, "Is that your airship?" Dumka just goes, "Uh-huh." We stopped for repairs.
Okay. Well, I mean, luck has it that you stopped here, so that's... You couldn't have asked for a better place to stop, right?
You're telling me?
Like, what are that's just amazing. What are the chances? And, well, again, would you like to introduce your friends? I'm assuming these people are with you, or are you here for business?
No, yes. This is the Iron Line.
Nice to meet you. I have heard about you.
This is Tremayne. She's really big and strong.
Oh, boy.
And this is Reksha. You know Reksha.
I have heard a lot about Reksha.
He's big and fluffy.
He is?
This is Beck, who is a very, very good survivalist and tracker, and he's also very funny. I know.
You're muted, Chel.
And this is Matty. She says a lot of words I don't understand, and everybody, that's my dad!
Oh.
Well, it is
And
nice.
Dash, my baby brother!
Dash kind of just like gives like a wave. That hasn't really said much, but it just kind of like waves it off. Well, it's very nice to meet all of you. Some of you in person that I've heard about before.
Yes. It's a pleasure to meet you too.
It's so nice to meet you.
Come on in. Come on further in. We don't have much of a ways of seating arrangements, unfortunately. He's kind of like looking around, and kind of grabs like a crate, moves it over. Some of y'all can take sit on the beds. They're these beds are big because they are meant for orcish people. So think of like queen or king size bed for just one person, basically. That's
God.
Yeah. So there's plenty of seating space on
Matty
the beds.
will definitely sit on the bed and like she's pretending to like still be engaged, but she's also still sketching what she got.
Okay.
Her brain is like, I got ideas, and like she's seeing like this portable forge, and she's like, that is so smart. I'm falling behind. And I'm like,
My father taught me everything that I know about smithing. He is incredibly skilled at this craft. I missed him so much.
You are over exaggerating. You've always been a very good smith on your own right, but I appreciate the compliment. So have you? He looks over at Dumka and Reksha specifically because of the information that he's gotten about Reksha about being a smith. So have you all been working on any new weapons or anything that you want to share? I have a couple new designs also that I can show off if you would like. Hopefully you all like it. You actually might be able to. You've always been better at making up names for weapons or things. I'm not none of us are really all that gifted at making names. So we've just kind of like generalized them. But I can show off some if you all had any. I would love to hear about your own smithing journey.
Reksha, show the project that you just finished before we left on the ship.
Sure. Why not? Reksha will just kind of move the holster to the front, sort of, and just like plop it down. It's made specifically to carry something for these swords. Pulls it out one by one with the generalized pelts that are made. I find it will be a lot more useful in the future once I am done practicing my other crafts more. But for now, it is just to hold these and another project that I'm thinking of starting.
Wow, this is definitely really good work. He just starts to like look over it. If you will allow, he'll grab it and just start like moving it around and like looking at it. As he does, you notice that Dash gets out a notebook kind of thing and starts writing some stuff down. But so it's just like basically a holster for multiple swords. Are you planning on doing anything else with it? Like, I don't know, maybe kind of have. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know why you'd want this many, but I'm sure you have a good reason. Do you want to share?
I do have a good reason. I like to keep the things that I'm planning a secret until the moment is right to unveil them.
I definitely understand that. Dumka, any I'm sorry. Did you have more you wanted to show off?
Well, we worked on a suit of armor together. Actually, it was a pretty big group effort. The Reksha and I worked on the main part. Beck was our assistant. We had some of our employees.
You have employees now?
I have employees.
Look who's in the big leagues now.
Because I forgot to say, they are my friends, yes, but we are also this is the Iron Line.
Of course.
So the employees.
I am very happy for you and your company. Seems like it's going really well. You have an airship.
And actually, Tremayne is wearing the armor.
Oh. And he'll actually go over and like inspect it. Wow, this is definitely some really nice craftsmanship. I'm not much of an armor smith myself, but I can definitely. I do. It's very nice.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be saying this if I didn't believe it. You know that.
I know.
But very good work, everyone. So I guess it's my turn. Do you want my newest that I'm still kind of working on, but I have a prototype made? Or do you want some older stuff first?
I want to see what you've been doing recently.
Okay. He'll move over to a small little table that has some kind of cloth draped over something. And at first glance, it kind of has the shape of a bow, where it has that curve to it, kind of like an arch. He uncovers it. Now, this is a working title, and he'll turn around, and you basically see a longbow. I call it the blade bow, which you can understand why. It is a longbow, but the ridges of the bow are actually made with a sharp edge that is what would function as basically a scimitar. So basically, functionally, this is a longbow plus a double-bladed scimitar put into one weapon.
Father,
This is my
taking notes.
this is my prototype currently. What do y'all think? And he'll walk it over and hand it to you.
Oh, it's heavy.
It is a little heavy. I'm still working on the balance, but it is functional. You can fire arrows from it and use the blades.
Someone stronger, maybe.
I'll take it.
It isn't super heavy, but it is definitely heavier than a bow. Yeah. But you test it, and it has the balance is a little off. It is a prototype. Excuse me. So the balance is a little off. Is functional though. So like you take it and you kind of like move it around. You take like a small swing. Seems like it would do the job on cutting, and you pull back on the bowstring a little bit. Strong string pulls back, has that nice bend to it.
This is a beautiful weapon. Unfortunately, I am horrible when it comes to ranged weaponry, so I wouldn't be able to make full use of it. But someone who is a bit more skilled in that department would be very dangerous.
I am also not very skilled at using the ranged weaponry either. As he motions over to like a large sack of some kind of grain, you see that there's one arrow like into the very bottom corner of it, and then most of the other arrows are just like around the center.
Beckett with a large ass longbow on his back currently.
But as you do mention that he Beck, right? That was your name? Would you like to test? It seems like you have some experience with longbows.
Yes, I've been using one since I was a child.
Well, be my guest. Try out my prototype. Like I said, it has a little bit of a pull to it, but and he'll step back and he'll hand you an arrow, and it's just a normal arrow, and
He'll
motions
pull
to the target.
his longbow off his back and like hand it to like Dumka to hold for a minute for him.
Okay.
It's huge.
Yeah, and
It's probably as tall as you are.
So yeah, you go back and pull back on the string. It has a nice pull to it. It has nice flexibility, which you wouldn't think it would have with these blades on it.
He's like
But
testing it for a second.
Surprisingly nice pull. If you want, you can make an attack roll for me, just using a normal longbow stat. So
30-20.
yeah, easy enough. You hit it. Like I said, most of the holes in the sack of like grain or whatever this stuff is that he's been shooting at has been mostly at the bottom. There's like a couple holes in the bottom, and most of it's just like you see these little divots of sand that like not even at the base of this bag. You hit it right in the middle, and it's definitely a functional longbow. And see, wonderful. It is great. It's actually you are a very good shot, or I'm just an awful shot, to be honest. But I'm glad it works.
The bow portion of it works certainly.
Feel free to. You can try the blades if you want.
So you said it's like a longbow and it's got the blade.
Yeah, on the side parts where it would curve. Those
curves.
curves have blades on the outside parts, so it's basically a scimitar like curve to it, and yeah.
So he'll hold it and he'll kind of start to, because obviously that's a very strange way to have blades.
Yeah,
so he's
definitely.
taking a minute to like get used to it. But he does make a comment, just like, this would be incredibly useful. Because normally I find myself at the edge of things. I'll go in with my longsword if needed, but normally I find myself at the edge of things because that's where most of my skills lie. But there is always that chance that somebody finds me. So it's a nice transition to be able to move in and swing that blade to be able to get right back into using the longbow without having to switch weapons. It's a brilliant construction.
In
That
theory,
was
the
my
functionality is
intent.
very smart.
Well, thank you. It was not only my doing. All three of us had some input on it, of course, but we thank you for
It
the
clearly
praise.
can't be used as a normal sword, but that's not the intent.
Of course not.
The intent
No.
is to be able to quickly use it. Rather, because I will admit I've used my longbow as a blunt instrument before.
Yeah, and it's I've heard the horror stories of that kind of thing, of like just the bow breaking.
Oh no!
Depending on what you're
there's
hitting with
always
it.
there's always that risk because they're not constructed to be used as a blunt weapon.
Yeah, but
So,
it does hurt if you get hit by one. I know. So
I would be very interested when you have an actual product and not just a prototype.
well, how about since you were the first person to be able to shoot it, and since you are friends with my son Dumka, I see fit that his friends and allies should be well equipped for whatever they're doing. So I will allow you to have it.
Yes.
On break, I'll actually get you the weapon sheet for you because I have
Nice.
it made on D&D Beyond for you.
Let's
Nice.
go.
When
It basically functions. It functions as a longbow, so you can, as an attack, when you take the attack action, you can either choose to make a melee attack or a range attack with it. Now you can switch it up too if you want. So, like if you have multi-attack, you can make a range attack
Which I
and then a
do.
melee attack if you want.
Nice.
So
That's really
So
cool.
does it function specifically with scimitar stats, or is it different because it's
no,
like
it actually uses the double-bladed scimitar stat block, so it actually does 2d4,
nice.
and it's a finesse weapon, so you can use strength or dex.
Nice.
That's
when
cool.
I made the sheet, I don't know why I didn't say it's finesse. I actually put strength or dex. Don't know why I did that, but it has the finesse quality. Yeah, it's basically just a
thing,
longbone and
different
double-edged
shape.
scimitar put together.
That's
so.
really
My foot's
cool.
asleep. That's why I'm wiggly. Ow! It's like waking up and it hurts.
So, I do have some more things that I've been working on. Now, this is a little bit more on the closest thing I've done to armor. And he'll walk over to a small little, like stand that has a kind of like a weird, like a small oval shield. Again, not great with names. I call this the arm shield. And basically what it does is a little on the nose, but he'll put it on, and basically what it does is it has a small little shield that basically just covers the arm. But it extends basically to look like Captain America's shield in Infinity War. Do you remember the kind of like the arm shield that he had where it went off into like a pointed...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of
like a punchy.
Yeah, basically, it's kind of like that. And basically, mechanically, what this does is you can attach it to one of your arms, and it acts as a +1 shield. So it gives you +1 to AC. However, if you punch somebody with it, it does a D6 plus strength damage die. It counts as unarmed. And if you have one on each fist, you get the AC bonus from both. So if you have one on each arm, you get your normal +2 from a shield. And they are kind of like fist weapons.
That's neat.
But he'll show it off and kind of like do some punches in the air, and kind of walks over here. Dumka, be my guest, and hands it off to you or whoever wants to try it. And it basically it has a strap that is made of like some kind of leather, and you just basically attach it to your arm, your forearm. And
I'll try it. I'm not proficient with punching weapons or shields.
Yeah, no. But I mean, your form is a little off, because I mean, you've seen Zach do some punching. You try to mimic, and everybody else that's watching looks awful. But Dumka's trying, and
uppercut.
You kind of throw your shoulder out a little bit when you do that. You're like, oh, shouldn't have done that.
Okay.
But,
Yeah, it's because I only have one on one arm. You know, if I had one on both arms, the weight.
Of course, let me get you the other one. And you walk over. But yeah, that's I actually sell these. You can buy them for 25 gold a piece. I have a couple of them in stock. If anybody would like any of those. But that's one of my inventions. Or our inventions, it's just not mine. It's a family effort.
Tremayne doesn't really use a shield. I don't really know how to... I mean, you know, I do the...
Yes, I know.
Dumka's just like, I forgot that I need to talk to my dad about that. So he kind of like, he does the like hit, and then he goes, like the Lisa Simpson picture, the like,
don't understand what this finger thing is.
I did the magic.
Oh, right.
But actually, you use a shield. Do you like my father punchy shield?
It's very nice. My main concern would be holding it. Yeah, and you just kind of.
Yeah, because it does take up it's a one-handed technically weapon. So.
Matty, do you know how to use a shield?
That's a good question. Do artificers know how to use
I think artificers are proficient in shields.
And shield on his back. He literally is.
Why no? But you just got the bow, so I figured.
No, that's totally
Your
fine.
father did say they are for sale this time. So
That's totally fine, but it's just really funny because he doesn't
Yeah.
talk or offer information very easily, so he's just like listening to this conversation. Do you use a shield? Do you use a shield?
Well,
Well, he's standing there with the fucking shield.
It's also because when we fought, I've only seen you use the bow because the time you used the sword, I was you, so I went with two-handing the longsword.
Yeah, when he uses his sword, he usually it depends on the situation. If he has to be really close within combat and he can't like dip back and forth like he normally does, he'll whip the shield out. He doesn't use the shield a lot, but he has one.
I mean, actually,
I will say.
I don't know if
go ahead.
artificers can. Can we?
it depends. I think it depends on your subclass. Actually, is what it is. I think,
Maybe,
and I think
yeah,
Oh, wait!
Alchemist
that's
is
true.
probably
It says shields.
Yeah, so you are.
okay.
proficient in
Okay,
it.
then
shit.
yeah, you can use it. Father, how
I
many
just
do
learned
you
something
have
about my
made?
class.
2 sets.
Two, so 4.
4 of them. Yeah, sorry. Yes, 4.
Oh, how much are they?
25 gold apiece.
Per set or per shield?
Per
set-
shield.
So-
Per
so 50
per
per
shield. So
set.
50 for the
set.
set.
I mean,
Sure.
honestly, I think that this would be good to just have. Think about it, Father. You make the weapons, I outfit our mercenaries with them. It would be like you and I are working together across the seas.
I do like the sound of that. We could probably make something happen with that.
Do you think that you would be able to make more before our ship is finished, so that we could take them back to Port Zoon?
Unfortunately, we don't have a fast turnaround on these things, with it only being 3 of us that work here.
I know.
high
I can help
quality-
you.
Even with that extra help, I unfortunately don't foresee us being able to make that many more. What time are you all staying the night, or when is your ship leaving?
I don't remember.
Pretty soon, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
Going
Yeah,
in the morning.
no, you're all leaving tonight.
Oh, tonight.
The ship will be ready to take off tonight.
Yeah, okay. I think Matty would get a pair, like, because I feel like even if she
Okay.
doesn't use it right away, I feel like she's gonna want to like alter it later. So
I will say that Dumka, you would, after thinking about these shields, would be pretty cool weapons for Zach, because since they're unarmed weapons, they would be considered monk weapons.
shit.
So
Mm.
that would
But do they
technically-
also count the
mechanically-
shields for his?
technically
can't
for mechanics perspective, they would be considered monk weapons, which scale with the unarmed, the martial arts weapon die.
Oh.
I mean, I was going to say
And is
get all
more.
4 anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So yeah, you can buy all 4 of them up. That's 100 gold basically, 50 from whoever and whoever.
I believe Beck said he will buy one, so that's 25.
Okay.
Is Maddie getting a pair of 2 or 1 for herself?
I think I don't know if she can have 2. Because if she
Shields, they're just per armor.
yeah, but if
They're
she
per arm.
has her gun, can she still have it
Oh
on
yeah,
her?
no. If
No,
your gun,
yeah, you
your
wanna-
gun is one. Is
Yeah, so I would
one-handed,
say
right?
I think she would buy
you can
one.
only use one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And
why
if you
don't
ever upgraded to a 2-handed gun, you would have to take away the shield.
Right.
So
I will. So if you guys each buy 1,
Mhm.
I will pay for the other 2, and I will pay my father in platinum.
I pay in gold.
in
'cause I'm
platinum,
evens it out.
high roller. I see. This is
I
making
have
some
taken.
good money.
I took what you have been teaching me to heart, and I've been doing really well.
Well,
I've started doing my own business ventures outside of just doing things with mother's husband.
It's okay. You can. There is no bad blood, at least on my end.
With Lord Ralliday,
Okay, that was a little much. You could just say, yeah.
with other
You could
dad.
say,
With
you could say
he's-
stepfather.
with my stepfather,
There you go.
your dad. I don't call him dad.
Good to know. I do have one other thing that could show off. I only have one of these, unfortunately, because these a a lot of the people that do exploration around these areas, they actually find these very useful. I call this the Grapple Shot, and he will go over to a small little chest, open it up, take out this small little like rectangular like cylinder kind of thing, and the end of it has this like a very sharp point, and he will point it at the little bag of whatever that he was using for a target dummy, and watch carefully, pushes a little button on it, and this little grappling hook shoots out and basically impales this bag, and it has a rope attached to it. It is used for kind of exploring caverns around the area, or like different things like that. You can use it. The grappling hook part of it is very strong and hard metal that can be used to just grapple onto a solid stone wall or wooden wall that can, either save someone from falling, can use as a swinging mechanism, or if you need to get somewhere higher, can hoist a good bit of weight. It is limited to the rope that is attached to it. However, it can be used. It comes with a 60-foot rope when you buy it, but the rope can be exchanged for any other kind of rope-like material. However, if you do change it out, I am not responsible for the strength of the rope you use. But these actually sell quite frequently here. I sell them for about 20 gold a piece.
Father, these are so much. You
can actually. Dash is actually the mastermind behind this one. He's actually gotten really good at like the smaller, technical kind of things.
When I went away, you were only smithing iron daggers. Over and over for experience to level smithing.
and then he's selling them off, yes. Getting that bar
too real, man.
No, I'm just joking.
It's like, oh, that was my childhood. Oh no.
Yeah. As you say this though, a lot has changed. I have gotten. I quite like making the schematics for a lot of the things we make.
Is my brother an artificer?
Oh my god.
Is my brother the smithing artificer, the battlesmith?
Hook me up,
well,
shit.
Dash, I am sure that if you have any other designs floating around in that much bigger skull of yours now, I would like to see them.
Please, we all know you have the biggest head out of this family. But I have some other things working, that I'm working out. However, they are not ready to be, they're not ready to see the light of day. Hopefully soon, though.
It really has been too long. I miss all of you so much.
Your father will come over and like grab you all along the shoulder, side to side. It really has. We definitely need to try and make this more of a frequent thing instead of a once in a 20 years. Oh, how long has it been? It's been so long. I've lost track.
It has been over 30.
Oh, don't say that. No, that makes me feel old, and I don't like feeling old.
Okay, it has been like 3.
Thank you. That is much better.
I just got through.
I am still the young man that, kind of does like some flexing. I am still
Dad,
in my prime.
Dad, I know. Okay. Yes, you look fine.
That's a capital
But
F.
all of these things that all of you are making together, You should come back to the Menagerie Coast. They don't have anything like this over there. Or definitely not in the Empire. You could make so much money. And you could see Mom.
Your father looks across over at your brother and sister, and your sister kind of like shrugs, and your brother, that's your choice. Let us think on it, and maybe you will see us Port Zoon, correct? That's where where you are.
With Mother.
Maybe you will see us there at some point, and you can give us a tour of your new home, and we can, like I said, maybe we can work something out with a business venture.
The Iron Line needs weapons and armor.
Well, we can definitely do the weapons at least. Armor, not our forte, but I'm sure if you all made that piece of armor, I'm sure you have the armor down pat.
mean, and I wouldn't mind a few Dasher, Dash patented grapple shots.
Are you asking for some more handouts?
We paid for the shields, Father.
You did. I also
they
gave you a prototype that no one has even seen except for you all.
Well, are they for sale?
They are not for sale. However, I'm planning on selling those for around 200 gold pieces.
You think I can't afford 200 gold pieces?
Wow.
I mean, if you can share the wealth. We could always use the money.
Paid for it.
While you were gone, they showed off. It's like a different invention. It's a box that shoots a grappling hook.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
It can grab people.
Mm-hmm.
Neat.
Yoink 'em.
Yeah, and as you're having this conversation, you see your father actually hits the button again, and it retracts and actually pulls the bag towards him.
No shit.
And it hits him. He's like, well, I'll clean that up later. And I only have one of these.
Okay. Well, then you should probably stay and make sure that you have something to work off of. But
Here. Take it. We can make more. And he'll hand you the grapple shot.
Dad.
thank you.
Unfortunately, that is the only one we have right now. But
I won't
I'm sure
break
you can
it.
find. Actually, does someone else want to take this? Dumka has this issue with breaking things, or at least he
I'm
used
not
to.
going to break it.
Zach, I'm not Zach.
No,
Okay. Okay.
I'm good.
No.
All right.
No.
If you promise to keep it safe and sound, it is very useful. So, but again, if you change out the rope, if it breaks, it's not on me.
I never broke this, and I draw Casimir. Still just as good of a shine as it was before. I take care of it every day.
In a different form. So you see this like quizzical look on his face because he's not necessarily recognizing it.
It's Casimir.
It was a warhammer.
Oh, oh! I turned it into a sword.
Yeah.
Because the pommels. It's Casimir. Okay, I didn't break it. I turned it into a sword.
Are you lying to me? We don't tell lies here. Did you break the hammer and then replace the pommel onto a sword? Is that what you did?
Wow.
Father, look at that.
He'll grab it.
Reksha will lean in. If you turned it back into a hammer, I feel like you would have a better time proving your point.
It takes a while. I can't just do it. I think I need to take a short rest.
Yeah, I believe it's up for a short rest. You can change it.
I can.
I mean, it has a familiarity to it.
I can turn
You
it.
can change the form of it. Is that what you're saying?
I can.
Huh. He kind of takes the handle and kind of just swings it back and forth. Why never you didn't never did that for me?
Dad, it's
What?
still a sword.
It is. I'm not gonna hit anybody with it. I know what I'm doing with the weapon. Which is not a ranged weapon. Here, take it back.
I can turn it back into it. I can show you, but that actually.
I believe you. If you say that it's the same weapon, I believe you. That is pretty amazing that you're able to change the form of the weapon. What do we even call it now? If it can be a warhammer and a sword?
I call it Casimir.
Yes, I guess we should use the name for it.
But that does remind me. I mean, you all have shown me all of the wonderful things that you can do, and
Yeah.
my friends can do a lot of really amazing things. But I haven't gotten to show you what I can do now.
Well, show us.
I should not do it in here.
Okay. Let's go out we can go out around the back, and we have plenty of space out there. I mean, there's nothing but desert.
Okay.
So everybody goes out the front entrance and goes around the back where there's this wide open space.
Right? I don't know. Do I start big? Of course I start big. What am I talking about? I will draw out Casimir. I look back at my siblings like I'm about to make you guys look so lame. My scales start to kind of spark and they go down the length of Casimir, and I thrust the blade up into the sky and I will set off a lightning bolt.
The actual spell, like lightning bolt?
The spell lightning bolt.
Okay. Yeah, you arcs up into the sky. You turn back around and taking this pose, and your father looks shocked and amazed all the same. So does Dash. However, your Shez kind of you hear under her breath, "Show off."
Oh, you don't even know that. Hold on. And I will spin it up in the air, and I will take some of the humidity in the air and condense it, and I will create a storm sphere up in the sky and make it just.
Again, your father is just amazed. He starts to clap. And
burn all my spell slots! So that when we're attacked, I can't do anything!
Dash is just speechless. He's not really saying anything. Of course, he doesn't say much anyways, but it's just, you see, his face isn't fully, mouth wide open kind of thing, but he has that, just amazement that you're able to do all this different kinds of magical things now. Shez, yeah, well, you're still shorter than me.
I'm going
and
to
just kind of laugh.
Got him.
I'm gonna come up to her.
Yes, little brother.
Gonna put a hand on her arm.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to twin cast fly on my sister.
Okay.
So she feels a little bit of a shock as electricity kind of goes through, and she goes, I may be short, but, and then I just start to, my hair kind of lifts up, and I just start to levitate, and then I keep going, and I kind of like so if we were standing like this, I kind of go like this so that I'm like upside down in the air, and I'm like holding her hand, and I'm like pulling her up.
This
into
is
the
the first time she's ever had any kind of experience like this. She starts to like do like the floating thing, and it's like, I don't like, stop. I don't like this. I'm gonna throw up. I'm gonna stop, please. And
I'm gonna
she starts
I'm
to,
gonna
like,
I'm
float
gonna
up
take
as
I'm
you're
gonna take her
grabbing her.
hand, and then I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do something,
Don't put me on.
and
Oh!
I spin her and I make her spin.
I'm gonna start brewing some tea for nausea real quick.
And I'm just Peter Panning around.
That's a 5.
Oh no.
Constitution saving throw.
Yes!
So as you're spinning her around, just
Uh-oh.
up comes her lunch. And
Oh no!
luckily, everybody was standing far enough back to where it's not getting on anybody.
I was just about to say, I imagine Reksha does it just like cast Shield of Faith, so if any throw up comes in his direction, it hits like an invisible wall.
Matty immediately went behind Reksha and started brewing like nausea tea. Like, nope.
If you don't put me down right now, I
What?
will make you regret it when we get back to the ground.
Oh, sorry, I don't know how to turn it off.
You better find out quick.
I'm kidding. I will. I'll end the spell.
You all float back down to the ground. She actually, as she touches the ground, like falls to her knees for a second because she's dizzy and like disoriented.
Okay. I'm sorry. But it is cool. I can fly.
She stands up as ink freezes.
Sorry. I can fly. Surprise.
I am very happy for you that you can fly. However, I would like to stay on the ground, please. And she stands up, looks at you, and you've seen this look before. She swings back really quickly, as you remember, and punches you in the shoulder.
No!
That is a 22 to hit.
Yeah, I can't even cast shield.
She rolled a 17 natural, so and you take a 6 points of bludgeoning damage from the punch.
You could kill a commoner! Yes! Oh! Ow!
Did you deserved that.
Ow!
And
You ever
this
seen
is
me in like 30 years?
this is not
You
one
hit
of the
me.
times you're going to be going to crying to dad.
You hit
and
me!
It's long past that date.
You punish me, and you haven't seen me in 30 years, and then you hit me after I make you fly, which is like a miracle.
And you make me throw up and almost throw up on your friends.
Here,
really nice.
This will make you feel better. I
threw
come
up.
over
That's not
behind, holding a
My
teacup.
magic didn't make you throw up. That was just all you.
I am not used to being thrown around in the air like that. And she'll
So,
turn
Beckett
around to you, Matty.
had
you.
like
Help your
had
tummy.
covered his kind of covered his mouth and like turned away.
Oh no!
I rolled a con save for him, so he didn't throw up, but he's a sympathetic vomiter.
Oh no! I think I remember you saying that because I think
Yeah.
I think I threw up one time and
Yeah.
then you were like,
So he's like over, like looking at the direction.
"How did that-"
He's
Dad?
promised to step away because he can't deal with the smell. He's probably.
Uh-huh.
I'll just like kick some sand over it.
I'm gonna bring Beckett some tea if I see him looking sick.
Thank
Dad-
you, Maddie. This was very good tea.
Yeah,
And
it'll
she
help your
starts to
stomach
drink it.
settle down.
As she starts to walk, you can definitely. It's like she's moving like how if you would spin around in a circle a lot. She's moving like that, and she's kind of like
Oh,
wobbling
the
back
world's,
and
like,
forth.
turning
Yeah.
underneath her.
You see her kind of like spill the tea a little bit on herself
Oh,
because
baby
she's
girl.
shaking a little bit from it.
Aw.
But
Here you go, Beckett. It's
That-
got some ginger tea
What were
for
you
you
gonna
with
say?
honey.
Dad, Dash, I can make other people fly. What about you guys?
please no. I
How many?
after seeing what
feminines
happened,
did
I would rather not.
Why does no one want to fly?
is if you were meant to fly, we would have wings. We do not have wings.
Dash?
No, that was Dash.
So,
Your father will as long as you don't spin me around like you did, I will try.
okay.
All right. He
Okay.
goes over and like kind of takes your hand a little bit, and well,
I will.
let's go.
I will use my last 4th level.
Okay.
So that I can cast it on both of us again.
Okay.
Okay.
You
So
all
what I do, because it's the hands. So I put my hands out and palms down, and then as I bring my hands to my side, and then I lift up into the air, and so then you move your hands. Okay. And you can go to the left or the right.
He starts to copy your instructions and
forward.
slowly, but does start to take flight next to you.
And then you can do a backflip.
I will leave the backflip to you. I don't know if that's what I. Maybe after a few more flight tests. But he kind of just starts to go back and forth. Starts to go a little bit higher, feeling a little bit more comfortable. Does not do a backflip by any means. Does not start to do any kind of spins or anything like that. Is kind of just floating there, just looking around. This is very impressive, Dumka. I am glad to see you have progressed in not only smithing, but more of your magical talents. So I am very proud of you.
I always wanted to show you.
Well, I am glad that we are having this. You are able, even though you can't stay for super long, but I'm glad that we've had this chance to catch up. And
I know. I wish it was. I wish it was longer. I have a lot of questions.
yeah, that's fine. We'll have all the time in the world. Like I said, maybe next time we see each other, I can come stay in Port Zoon for a little while at least, maybe permanently, depending on what we decide.
Permanently?
Depending on what we decide. I don't want to get your hopes up, but we'll at least come and visit. How about that? That is something I can promise. We'll come and visit.
All of you?
Well, I mean, as long as I'm not going to force them to, but if they want to come along, they can.
You can force them. It's okay.
I mean, I could force them, but I don't. I like you all have to have free will. You can do what you want to do. If they don't want to go across the sea, then I'm again not going to force them to.
I know. But my free will is. That's why I left. Now I feel like maybe I don't know. This is
It was your path. You had to take it. Everybody has their own, and I am happy you did take yours. Or you wouldn't have been. Who knows? Maybe you would have never found out all of this great ability that you have. You definitely wouldn't have found all these wonderful friends.
That's true.
So
I wish that Zach was here, so that he could say hi.
I would like to meet Zach. Your letters, I'm sure, don't do them justice.
They don't. He is probably like the coolest person in the entire world.
Well, I'm glad you can.
Thinking about the Dark Phoenix. Thinking about the Dark Phoenix. He is kind of like my own personal hero.
Well, I'm glad you had someone that you were that close with there.
Yeah. He's super cool. He's training with a turtle right now.
You all, as you all are having this conversation, both of you haven't just absent-mindedly floated farther and farther up into the air. Your father eventually notices, and oh, how do we get down?
Oh, sorry. Okay, just put your arms out to the side and exhale. Whew.
And you'll start to slowly decrease in altitude and land back on the ground. I think at this point, this would be a great time for a break for the evening.
Sure. Alright.
So we will be back. We're going to grab some snacks, refreshments, and we'll hope to see you back after our short 5 to 10 minute break.
BRB, fam. Thanks for
We are
waiting.
back. We have our snacks and beverages refilled. Hopefully you got a chance to do that too. And we are going to jump right back into game. We are going to skip a little bit of time here. Everybody, Dumka and the group got to say goodbyes to Dumka's family, and Dumka got some bear hugs again as they were leaving, because unfortunately they have to make their way back to the ship before the ship takes off without them, even though the ship wouldn't do that, but you know what I mean. So, you all get back to the ship, everybody gets back settled in, just maybe like another hour passes before the ship actually takes off, and you all are back into the sky, over the deserts of Marquette. So if there's anything that anybody would want to do while on the ship for the last few days, if not, we're gonna do some time skipping again.
Just working on Saren's armor and Reksha's project.
Yeah, so Reksha will probably just spend the first few hours, I guess, just fixing the weight on Beck's new prototype, and spending a lot of time just going back and forth between helping on the ship and talking with Matty in private about their project.
Okay. Gotcha, yeah. Easy enough to do. I would say to fix the prototype, it would take probably your greater afternoon to do so, because it is something that, of course, you didn't make, and it was a prototype. So, but you are able to fix the weight issue of it. And Beckett has a new fancy weapon that is going to be cool to see in action. So, anybody else, though? Did anybody else have anything that... I think, Reksha, you said you wanted to send a message in a DM to me. Did you still want to do that?
Yeah.
Does that
Reksha's,
it was?
Yeah, Reksha's going to send a message to Zach. Basically, just along the lines of, when you have the time, I would like you to look into our magical contact about elemental essence extractors. That's 24 words.
Perfect. And of course, Zach, you get this message. You can reply if you would like. And you do have the contact that Dumka made, and has set up a supply line with the Iron Line to get commissions done. It does cost money, of course, but it is something that you can do.
Zach has all the finances, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go probably tomorrow afternoon. I got a couple of the meetings. When you get the time, give me an update on my brother. Stay safe.
He's dead. No, I'm just kidding.
Jesus. Is he alive? You good?
No. But yeah, so I mean, if that's everything that everybody wants to do, we are going to skip a couple more days until you all actually land again at your destination. So, last chance. All right. So,
Beckett's just really quick. Beckett's he's probably gonna spend a lot of time helping on the ship, practicing with his weapon, but he's also probably gonna be spending some time drafting a letter. He's probably drafting the same letter over and over and over again. Lots of crumpling the paper up and like burning it so that if it's a draft, it's gone. So he doesn't necessarily have the whole letter yet. I will message you and just tell you generally what he's doing. But he's like fighting with whether or not he's gonna send it. So
okay, yeah, that's totally fine.
But that's it.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So that being said, a couple days pass, and you meet with Sasha on the deck of the ship as you all hear the captain yell out, "We have arrived at the destination. Please, everybody hold on as we start to make landing preparations." and the ship comes to a slow stop in the air and then just starts to slowly move down to the ground like you have experienced before when landing near the settlement. Sasha meets you all up on the deck. So, it looks like we're finally here. One day longer than we thought, but definitely interesting. But once we have fully landed, make sure you have all of your things, and we will make track into where my friends are.
Yep, Reksha will make sure he has all his things, and then go to Dumka's room and make sure Dumka has all his things.
Okay, smart.
Zach's so proud.
I have the extra 2 arm shields. Do you want to at least take one, just in case?
Who are you asking? Sorry.
Reksha, because he came to my room.
Okay.
Sure, just in case I get caught in a bad situation.
Like my father is protecting you.
He'll put it in his bag.
Yeah, these, like I said, these aren't super big by any means. Like, they're not like a normal shield where you have to like carry it on your back or like on your arm at all times. Like, it would even probably fit on a belt.
Oh,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Maddie's wearing
Alright, so you all gather your stuff and start to depart the ship. You touch ground. This terrain is a little bit different than the terrain that you have been flying over. And there's still sand, of course, but there is a lot more rocky terrain. There is big flat plateaus that have this like shelf kind of texture to it. Like it'll have a flat part go off and then have another like flat part underneath of it, and it'll keep doing that all the way down to like where the sand it meets the sand dunes. There's a ton of those different kind of things scattered across the area. As the ship lands, you exit and you start making your way towards one of these shelf-like areas. Please follow me. Where we're going is very easy for you to get lost, so please stay close, and we should only take us maybe an hour to get to where we're going. So,
Can
follow me?
I, in general, just keep a
Sure.
eye out for traps because we're hired bodyguards? So I feel like
If
Matty
you wanna,
wants to do like investigations, like as we like
Sure,
every
yeah, you can
like
make
every
a-
like few hundred yards.
Mm-hmm.
Just
yeah,
check.
go ahead and make an investigation check for me.
12 plus investigation 8. Dirty 20.
Nice. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind as we
Cool.
head forward through these rocky caverns.
Trying to think like a bodyguard, Derek.
No, yeah, perfect. Great. Tremayne, of course, did stay on the ship. She said that she'll help just keep an eye out and protect the ship a little bit as you all head into this area. So, exiting the ship and you walk through the desert a little bit to one of these shelves that has this like rocky terrain. There's actually a cave that is a decently sized cave. From what you all heard about there being dragons here, it looks like it would fit a smaller dragon in it, but like most of you all know that dragons can get relatively big. Doesn't seem like it would fit the size of that, like, you know, like of even an adult dragon. It's more of like a smaller size, so maybe 15 by 15.
But do we
So.
know that dragons can change their forms?
Dumka definitely knows that, and Beckett would know that too.
Okay.
So, I mean, you probably all shared that information at some
Okay,
point
okay.
in time, since you all know you're dealing with dragons. But you start heading in, and there isn't any sign of light in here outside of the light from the sun that is at the entrance. So as you move farther and farther in, it gets darker and darker.
I pull out one of
So
my
does
glow
everybody-
sticks.
Perfect. So you bring out some light, so you all you're not in complete darkness here. And as you're going through, you start to notice that this tunnel isn't worked by any means. It looks like natural. It doesn't look like it's been formed or shaped by anything. And you start to notice as you continue in, this one tunnel starts to split off in different directions. As you're walking through it will split off to the right, left, it'll go down, it'll slope up, all these different kinds of directions. And you get the sense that this is what Sasha meant by you can get lost down here relatively easy. But you continue on, and Sasha seems like they know where they're going and the direction. They don't even hesitate when they get to a new split in the intersection and continue forward. About 30 minutes in, Beckett, also anybody else that speaks Draconic, Saren will say to you, which you also have started to sense something familiar.
I have?
Yeah. Where, Beckett, I don't know if it feels, I don't know, it kind of feels like home, but not home. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been feeling it too. It's making me very nervous, if I'm being honest.
I don't know, there's just some kind of like energy around this place that seems to be I don't even know how to explain it. But it definitely feels like before we left home.
I don't know if I can hear Beckett, but can I hear Saren? Can Saren whisper?
No, yeah, Saren's just talking normally. She
Okay.
doesn't she's not whispering at all.
Dumka kind of, while we're walking, Dumka kind of leans. It looks like he's leaning over to Beckett, but really I'm leaning over to Saren, but Saren's like down there, and Dumka just goes, "What kind of energy are we talking about?"
There's a familiarity to it that I can't quite put my finger on.
And the more and more you think about it, and the longer that you're here, it feels, because you know what a dragon's lair have that energy, especially for certain dragons of like strong power gives off. It has that feel, but it's not the feel of the one you're used to. But it has that feeling. So it seems like you're getting closer and closer to the center of whatever dragon this is. It's their lair that they have.
I think we're walking, he says quietly in Draconic, into a dragon's lair. Like their home.
Oh my god, this is
where
so exciting.
Their power is concentrated. I've been in one before, actually quite a few times, and it just sort of has the same... I don't know, you know when you're around like a lot of magic and it's just like, it's almost like a humidity sort of in the air.
Yeah, the humidity does a lot to my magic. I definitely get it.
It's just like a very, he like starts to like palpable sort of feeling in the air. He is visibly nervous, I will say, which is very strange for him. He doesn't emote a lot, so when he does, it's like, whoa.
Well, since you're just outright saying he looks nervous, Dumka would say, as you say that you have been in one of these lairs before, why do you look so concerned? You probably have the most experience out of all of us.
My concern does not come from a logical place, so I will say that. My concern is not something that you should use to as a gauge for your own.
Is there anything I can do to help you feel more comfortable?
I just need to know what's going to happen.
I just thought that we're gonna talk to a dragon, but I'll keep you informed.
My anxiety always about these things always comes from a place of uncertainty. So.
Well, it's a good thing you're so good at figuring out what's going on, eh?
He nods.
Nothing to worry about. They give you a little pat.
And as you're having this conversation, Matty, you also start to notice that you were looking for traps. You have not seen any traps. You get the sense that if there were any traps in these tunnels, they're either down the paths that you aren't going, or the defense mechanism of this place is basically the giant maze that this seems to be.
Okay.
And at this point, as you're continuing through these tunnels, they turn less into natural caverns into caverns that look like they were burrowed out and manufactured into this, but not manufactured by like humanoid hands. These are giant claw marks, and just like something big made these tunnels.
Okay, I'm gonna clock like our movements to try and like retrace our steps if we absolutely need to get out of here and not get lost in this maze.
Yeah, you can totally do that. Go ahead and make me another. We'll say this is
That will help. If
you can
want.
either use a intelligence survival check or a wisdom survival check. I'll let you pick whatever you want to do. This is just for you to track basically it's whatever stat is better for you. Intelligence or wisdom.
Probably intelligence.
So just roll a d20, add your bonus to intelligence, and then if you're proficient in survival, you can add that. But I think Beckett said that he was going to help you, so you have
Oh,
advantage.
okay. Well, that's good. That wasn't.
And he would provide whatever guidance, because this is like what he does. So like he'll provide whatever guidance as well. So
Okay, so it's 16 total. I rolled shit.
No, you think that you have a good map of the way of the turns that you've taken, and you think because you're smart, you can reverse engineer a lot of different things. So you think you can find your way back out if you needed to.
Okay.
So
yeah, I think Maddie's taking like this job super serious. Like, oh, we're on the clock now, so like I need to be a proper bodyguard. I need to be paying attention.
At this point, you all have been traveling about 30 minutes into this place, and eventually you start to see some light in the distance down one of these tunnels that you're continuing. And again, you're like switching from the different tunnels, going left, going right, going down deeper, going back up. And it's like changing drastically what you're doing. And without the right person behind the reverse engineering how to get back out or making notes or whatever it may be, definitely you could see why this is you would get lost here. Just your normal person would get lost. But you start to see some light. It looks like some firelight coming from up ahead. And you start to hear some voices. Two voices in particular, and it sounds like they're arguing. You hear, which all of you all hear, one of them says, "Now I told you this is my home. Please stop touching and changing things. You know I have everything where I want it. We've had this discussion." And you hear back from another individual's voice, "Come on, they're just clouds. They're more comfortable, and all you have to sit on is these hard rocks and stones. I need something more comfortable. It's not hurting anything." And as you all turn this corner, because Sasha does not stop. They just keep going, and as you all turn this corner, you will see a cavern that is huge, and it has different shelves into this area where you can walk up like this makeshift staircase to a landing that has a small like kitchenette kind of thing. It goes up farther into another like sitting area where there's a couple of different sitting stones that you can sit at, and with like a makeshift stone table. Another one goes up into what looks like to be like a bedroom area, and you see two individuals. One you almost mistake for an older version of Dumka's father. Basically the same form. And Dumka, you immediately recognize this person from a dream you had. The bald head of an orc.
Oh god, this
Long beard that's white. And very muscular. And this is the individual that is yelling at this other person about changing things.
Oh my god, it's Great Grandpa's house. I'm in Great Grandpa's house.
Basically. And as, because you all heard that they said that they were just making these clouds for, for more comfortable, which struck you as strange because, what do you mean clouds? The individual actually meant clouds. They had made basically furniture out of clouds and is just laying back on like a sofa, just like kind of like waving the other person off. And as they notice Sasha and you all enter, the one that looks like Dumka's father, I am not done with you. Stop changing things. And we'll start walking down the staircase. Well, I am glad you could make it. Took you a little bit longer than you said. But welcome. I am glad you made it safe and sound. Shuros. Looking at Sasha.
What do you call her?
Shuros. Which,
You mind throwing that in the chat?
yeah. Lore.
Thank you.
Which you all do recognize the name as being one of the names in the book of the Six Dragons. Specifically the purple one.
Hold on.
The gifted.
Okay, well, fuck me. Why do I, take the notes? Shit.
Yeah. Very interesting.
As this individual says this, Sasha or Suros will respond, yes, we kind of had an issue on one of the days and had to stop for repairs, but I'm glad we made it, and it is good to see you, Zolbeer. Which, again, do recognize, especially Dumka, as potentially a descendant of this individual.
I'm probably still by Beckett, so I go, I said that we'd keep you informed. That's my great grandpa.
He nods.
Um,
He puts like
Dumka
a hand on, just like a subtle hand on Dumka's back, like a calm.
First my dad. Now my great grandpa. You feel a little bit of static electricity on your hand.
Yeah, there's just like he's like as straight faced as he possibly can be because Beckett knew this was gonna happen.
He's somehow when you rub your socks on the carpet and you do that. He's somehow doing that on stone, and it's
nice.
making his boots go like.
Nice.
You have to calm down. I promise we'll address it. Perhaps even you'll be able to speak to him in a more personal Wait, shh, calm.
I am calm.
But we're working right now.
We're working.
And also, there's a lot of dragons in this room. So we have to be calm. Good.
As you all are having this conversation, you see the individuals that's laying down. You haven't really seen them, except for like the end of their boots, because they're laying down like on this like cloud sofa, and they sit up and like lean over, and since they heard that they have guests, I'm here too, Suros. And Sashay or Suros will again wave. Good to see you too, Zendor. Which you all do again recognize that name. That was the Silver Dragon's name. But Zolbir will look over at you all. Last a little bit longer on Dumka, not very much longer, but seems to recognize some things. So, Suros, this is your companions. You said that there was coming with you, right? They can go up and find seats, and we can get this meeting started, and hopefully end and split up again sooner than later. He will motion. You all can go sit up in there's a couple chairs and tables that you can go sit at. Please do not touch anything or move anything. And he kind of like looks over at the individual sitting on the sofa as he says that. Again, more comfortable. I am sorry. And this person kind of like sits up. You see that they are presenting a more masculine elf individual, clean shaven face, no facial hair at all. This long silverish hair that kind of like goes down to like basically their belly button on all sides, and like big mane of hair. And this like very flowy outfit that just, this individual seems like the comfort is the thing that they care about the most, basically, from first like glances. And they're wearing like this silk outfit, very laid back. Here, trust me, you don't want to sit on these stone tables. And he will like motion his hand, and a couple of chairs, 4 to be exactly, because there's 4 of you all, appear out of these clouds, just around a table for you all to sit at. And as you all head up there, you're afraid that you're actually just gonna pass through these, but you like touch it and kind of poke it, make sure that they're solid. They are. As you each sit down on these cloud chairs, they basically feel what you would imagine sitting on a cloud would feel. The most like the softest, most comfortable thing you all have ever been on. As you all just sit around this table. Go ahead.
Thank you for the hospitality.
And as Zendor did that, Zolbir just glances back over with this evil like scowl. You cannot leave fast enough. And they head back over to where they have their little meeting area set up. And go ahead and make perception checks for me. Basically anybody that would want.
I'm gonna abstain from it just because I'm only staring at my grandpa.
Okay.
Not very good.
Rolled a 9. I'm probably too focused on keeping Dumka calm.
I rolled a 10.
And also my own anxieties.
Wait, higher than 13. 15.
Yeah. So Reksha, you're the only one that notices this. They have this small little table that is next to this cloud sofa that Zendor is sitting on. Well, now laying on. On the table in the center, there is a ring and a necklace that looks oddly familiar to you, as seems like something that Dumka has hidden in his neck.
It just
And-
keeps on piling on me, huh?
As Sasha or Suros walks up to the table, they will take out another ring and place it on the table also. And they will start to have conversations, which you all can pick up parts of here and there. You hear something about Hyza, which you all would remember the name. That's the name of the gold dragon. They haven't heard from in quite some time. And they also didn't reply to the summons of this meeting. Sasha will also inform them of Corv's death, which was the brass dragon that you all encountered in the temple, in the sanctuary. As this is relayed, you get the sense just from your general being able to read your normal individual that this is information that is like being informed that a sibling has died.
Oh.
That's what you get from their reactions. Sasha will also inform that they think Gnir might be behind it, which is the red dragon from the information that you all found from the sanctuary. Zolber will also relay that information, where I also had my suspicions about them. And they also did not reply to the summons. So either one of them is behind this, whether that be Gnir or Hyza, or someone is hunting us down. That being said, since Corv's lifeblood was never found, we can only expect that whoever is doing this has at least one, which is very worrisome. And as this conversation goes by, they're going more into detail about different aspects of, like, basically speculating of, like, who and, like, what might be the reason behind all this kind of things.
Well, yeah, if they're talking, Reksha will just quietly point out that they have two other lifebloods that are sitting on that table over there. He's not gonna, like, make a big scene.
There's three now.
Yeah,
Once-
3. Sorry.
Yeah.
He's not making a big scene about it, but he will point it out.
Did they say that another one is dead? Or
They were
Missing.
taught. Yeah. They said one is missing. The one that we found apparently is dead,
He's dead.
obviously.
Yeah.
We saw that for ourselves.
This moment, it seems like you all have seen individuals get a message sent to them, whether that be Reksha or Dumka or whoever it might be receiving of this message. But you see Sasha kind of like look up and go blank for a second, as if they are reading something, or not reading something, listening to something that's not in the room. If you would excuse me, I have to have a conversation with my individuals that I brought with me. And Sasha will get up from the table that they're having this conversation and walk over to where you all are sitting. So, I have just been informed by the captain of the ship that apparently your feline friend has gone missing from the ship.
Mother.
This is about 2 hours after you all have left the ship. And I don't know about you, but I am starting to get relatively annoyed by this individual showing up to where
Oh my
they're
god,
not wanted.
It's not just you.
I really gave him the benefit of the doubt.
I'm not going to say I told you so, but he smiles.
But Tremayne is there. Tremayne would never. Tremayne isn't the most.
He does.
So I'd like to point out that there is quite the danger that he probably followed us here.
Why?
Oh my
I
god.
will let you all discuss among yourself. I have
Go
some
back
other
to your
things
meeting.
to deal with.
We'll take care
And
of
they
it.
will go back over to their table and start having their conversation again. But feel free. You all can talk amongst yourselves.
So there's actually a spell. I just want to see if this works, but there's a spell I did, in fact, prepare today just in case, because we're supposed to be protecting someone. I just want to see if I,
creature?
yeah, if I cast locate creature and focus on him, like, see if it picks him up nearby.
Sure, what's the range on that?
1,000 feet.
Yeah, 1,000 feet.
You do not get a ping.
Okay.
Right now.
Well, wherever he is not within 1,000 feet of us, which is very lucky for him.
But that means he could be anywhere from in between us and the ship.
You all did walk quite a distance in those caverns, so.
He might be lost in these caverns. If you remember, they're very, very maze-like and labyrinthine.
He's stupid.
Can you send him a message, Reksha?
What would you like me to say to him?
Ask him where the fuck he is. Beckett also doesn't really swear.
Noted. Reksha will cast Sending, and he will target Tusk, and he will go. Where the fuck are you?
Yeah, you wait for a response.
Yep.
Doesn't seem to be one.
Oh, God, he's
But
in
is
trouble.
is it like, does it not go through or does it go through? Because I would be able to know.
You cast the spell before, and you definitely know if it goes through. It went through. There's just no response.
To murder a cat.
This cat is the evil dragon.
Should we get up and look for him?
No, our focus needs to be here from the job that we've been hired to do.
How long does locate creature last for?
I don't remember. Need to restart my computer. Tabs aren't working, so I can't read the spell right now.
1 second.
I've got
I can look
it.
up for you.
I've got
Oh,
Is
it.
it
okay.
10
Thank
minutes
you.
or an hour?
Up to an
Yeah,
hour.
I can't remember. It's up to an hour.
Yeah.
Okay. Um,
I'll hold concentration on it then.
I figured, yeah. So, as y'all are having this conversation, you have about 10-15 minutes goes by, and Sasha and their group is still having conversations when you hear another voice come into the chamber from the entrance that you all entered from. So it seems I have made it to the gathering.
I
as you
pull out
could
my
say.
gun.
Yeah, Beckett's standing
This isn't-
immediately.
This isn't a voice that you all recognize.
I still pull out my gun. I don't know who this
Okay.
Yeah,
is.
he's
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
I'm a
special.
bodyguard.
You as you stand up, Reksha and Dumka. This individual fits a description once described by Zach. That was the individual they saw in the sanctuary. A fire Genasi with a missing arm.
Oh no.
Fire for hair, and has a small gold tee that is also fire.
Okay.
You notice them holding a relatively big sack on their back, over their shoulder in one arm. And I am here. We had this meeting planned, and I am finally made it. So, what is this meeting about? And the three around the other table also stood up when they heard the voice. Look over. Zolbir speaks up. So, Ganir, you did get the summons, then.
slowly
Why
sits
didn't you-
down.
Why didn't you get,
Slowly stands up.
why didn't you reply? Oh, you know, I was, a little preoccupied in the moment.
I don't know if Reksha would hold his tongue about this.
Reksha, this is actually about when you start getting a ping on your radar of locate creature.
He's in the sack!
And it is moving.
Maybe!
Oh, it's moving?
You
Oh.
look to where this individual seems to have found another tunnel into this area. And you see Tusk standing up on one of these shelves up above, probably about 100 feet up at this point, overlooking basically everything.
Hmm.
His bow is drawn. No arrow is knocked at the moment, but he is just looks like he's trying to remain unhidden or unseen and just keeping a lookout. So so Reksha, you get that information,
Hmm.
and
You
Ganir.
tell us. I
Ganir,
need to know that answer to that question.
yeah. Do you relay that information to everybody else, Reksha?
Which one? Because I just got a lot.
About Tusk.
About Tusk.
Oh. Yeah. I will actually. Yeah, Reksha will say. Over up on one of the shelves.
Okay, I'll let you say what you were gonna say, Derek. But Beckett wants to try to sneak over to him. So after you're saying what you're gonna say,
Well, I will say it doesn't seem there's any way to get up to him from this side. It looks like he came out of
Yeah, he came in
tunnel
through a different tunnel.
that
Okay.
is up on this shelf, and it's about 100 feet in the air with no walkway up to it.
there's not a way to climb or anything?
I mean, you could attempt to climb it, but it's basically think of it like a rock climb, like a rock
Okay.
climber would have to do.
Okay.
Like, it's definitely something that would be noticed and
Okay.
all that kind
I'm
of stuff. So,
having a hard time staying calm.
Oh, me too.
So, are you going to inform me what this meeting is about, or can I just be here and get what I came for.
Pointing finger at Tusk. I have message. You better tell me what you're doing right now, or I'm knocking an arrow and just putting it right between your eyes.
He, as you say this, and he looks over at you. I will in a moment.
No, you're telling me right now. You have 10 seconds. I'm
as you're
grabbing
having
my
this
bow.
conversation with
Yeah, go ahead.
this individual, everybody else, you're hearing this other conversation that's going on between Ganir and
Yeah, I'm
Zolbir.
keeping my gun trained on Ganir because I heard them saying, "Do you think Ganir did it?"
Yeah.
And I see how Dumka's reacting to this person's visage, and I'm just keeping my gun trained on them. I haven't stood down.
It's totally good. As this conversation with the message is going on, now, do not make me have to do what I did to our siblings just for the lifebloods that you all hold. I need them, and I would prefer not to have to kill you. As he says this, throws the sack, this large sack that he has, and you notice at the bottom of the sack, it's actually wet and crimson. As it rolls to the ground, the sack opens up, and the head of an ancient gold dragon is inside the sack.
Oh no!
Now
Yo,
I already
that
have
might
2
have-
of them. I want the other 4. And imagine that, they're all in the same place.
Oh no!
You, Beckett, as you're having this conversation, you notice that even though at the distance that you're looking at Tusk, you can kind of see that they look a bit shaken. And
Okay.
you can see kind of like a sparkle in their eye. Kind of
Like,
looks like they've been crying, or there's like
Okay.
tears welling up in their eyes.
Okay.
And Ganir lets out, "Fine, we'll do it the hard way." And that's when you don't get a chance to react, Beckett. Tusk takes an arrow very quickly and fires it right at Dumka.
Oh!
Okay, so
Oh!
Yeah.
I had said that I was within 10 seconds about to knock an arrow and shoot it
Yeah.
between his eyes.
Yeah, you can.
Can
you
I
can fire one.
essentially
You can
use
fire
a
one at
reaction
him
to
also.
immediately pull my bow and shoot one at him?
Yeah, you can fire one at him.
Me?
Apparently, they somehow know that you have the lifeblood. Is what you get the sense of. So,
Damn it, I rolled a
Um,
10. And not 1.
okay. I did, however,
Tusk-
since Reksha used locate creature, this isn't considered a surprise round anymore. Which, if it was a surprise round, would have been an automatic crit for Tusk. Because I rolled ahead of time of what
Good
Dumka would have taken.
Reksha.
That damage total, if it was a surprise round, automatic crit, you would have taken 78 points of damage.
Oh my!
So I have a
Oh.
question, because I have a multi-attack.
Yeah.
Can I use that multi-attack now to shoot one more time, or is that did I just get the one hit?
I would say for now you just got the one because it's kind of
Okay.
like a quick
Yeah.
succession.
Yeah.
So I have to re-roll damage.
That's okay.
Well,
Because it's
can
not
you
a
also
critical.
tell me? Well, can you tell me what the 2-hit is?
Oh, it was like 23. something like that.
Okay. It was
Sorry.
never declared, because I can
figured,
shield things.
I looked up your AC and I remembered you had shield, so I thought unless I missed something, you wouldn't have been able to get that high. So let me reroll dice really quickly because they do not do their full damage. They don't get sneak attack. I
was still unaware of them.
Well, no, because Reksha told you about them.
Oh, Reksha did tell me. Okay.
So that's why I'm considering it not a surprise round to everybody else, or to everybody. So, because technically we would be starting initiative. However, this is also, I think, where we're going to end. So, Dumka, you take, math is hard. 6 points of piercing damage.
I bet you poisoned this arrow.
It's not poison. Well, I guess it's technically kind of poison. This arrow that he fired also entangles you. And you take 12 points of piercing damage. And I think I need you to make some
Dude, cut down!
This is a grasping arrow.
If it was the automatic crit, I would have been out in one hit because I 78. I have 74 max.
Sorry, you take 2d. So you take 12 points of poison damage. Your speed is reduced by 10 feet, and if you move while these are still attached to you, you take another 2d6 slashing damage on the first turn of your turn. First time you move on your turn. Without teleporting, of course. So, there is no save, unfortunately, but you can remove them with an athletics check on your turn. So,
can I say just quickly so that I don't forget, because I missed, I will probably, because Saren can fly now, send her up to him immediately.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll throw that somewhere so that we can remember for next time, but I just wanted to say that out loud so that I didn't forget, just in case I did.
No, yeah. But yeah, like I said, I think that's where we're going to end tonight because it's already getting really late, and I don't think we don't really want to get into combat at this point in time. So, yeah, I think we'll end there. Your friend Tusk apparently shot Dumka with a arrow.
He was my friend. I was the one that always said, like, we should be nice.
So,
Zach's gonna be so mad when he finds out this kid's up to.
He lied when he said that he wanted to be protected by us. He was coming on this mission for the assassination.
See why I hate cat boys? See? This is why I don't like cat boys.
Should have thrown him off the ship.
We had the chance.
Beckett wanted to, but everybody talked him down.
He saved your life, though.
He's really convincing.
I don't think he's doing this willingly, though.
Nope, definitely not.
No, because the tears.
No, I feel like they've got like someone he loves hostage or something.
Well, the tears happened when he tossed the head out.
It was right before he shot the arrow.
Yeah, he said you heard him say sorry in a message back to you.
To me?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, he's definitely being made to do this.
Yeah,
but
he's not doing this.
So I was saying,
yeah, Beckett's pissed, and he's not even thinking about that right now. But
beat the shit out of him, even though he's sorry.
How is this dude going to come into a meeting of like 4 ancient dragons and think he's going to come out on top?
We'll find out, I guess.
Oh, that being said, hopefully everybody enjoyed the session, and like we said earlier, we will have another session of Vigil next week to find out what happens in this situation. So,
we kill a cat boy.
Anybody, any last minute or announcements or anything like that we need to throw out there before
no
we sign off for the night? All right, well, that being said, yes?
Cardboard Castle games and stuff. I don't remember what the announcements are.
Cardboard
Check out
Castle
Castle
Games. And
Little dragons, because we have the big dragons right now.
yeah.
And yeah. So we'll see you all next week, and don't forget to add your proficiency bonus.
Hell yeah.
Remember to kill every cowboy you see.
Bye.
Love you, bye.
They're not to be trusted.